Democrats don't have a strong hand to play right now in their opposition to the Trump administration 2.0, which is just a force of nature doing incredible work very quickly. They've got Elon Musk. It would be tough to say they don't have very capable, high IQ people in all of the top roles. They've got Elon Musk leading Doge, some really important work being done there. Also, we'll talk about the DEI house cleaning that has been going on in some of these agencies, including in the intel community. But we've mentioned the economy and how Democrats are trying to find something to say about how it's not good. Blame Trump. Here is Governor Pritzker, who I would wager, despite a fondness for groceries, has not bought his own groceries in a very long time. Here he is saying that the reason your grocery prices are high is because threats to democracy. Play it.
You say to people, democracy is at risk. Nobody knows what that looks like. They've never experienced it before.
Yeah.
And the reality is what people need to hear about is what the effects of that are. The prices at the grocery store are going up because democracy is being taken away. The impact on you in terms of your health care, 770,000 people in Illinois will lose health care as a result of what Donald Trump and Elon Musk and the Republican Congress are doing right now. It's a danger to your way of life. And that's what people need to understand.
I don't even know what he's really saying other than Trump is a demonic, terrible force that will destroy everything. It's not really an argument. I think he's also trying to refer there to Medicaid. Medicaid has become such a bloated program that there are games that states play where they try to get more federal matching funds, and there's all that by how they actually do hospital reimbursements for Medicaid. People use Medicaid to buy all kinds of things that have nothing to do with health care. It's a complete mess. And it's gotten much, much bigger and more bloated in recent years. So people should know. I think it's the largest single line item in the New York State budget, for example. Medicaid, health care, welfare. Governor Kathy Hochul, speaking of New York, here she is saying the high price of eggs in New York, Trump's fault. Play 4.
It's remarkable that they're voting against their own constituents' interests.
And I'm very happy to remind their constituents of that very fact, that their own elected leaders have betrayed them and everything that was promised. Remember how on day one of the Trump administration, prices are going to go down? You know what the cost of eggs in New York City are, if you can even find them?
You can't find them.
It went up 40% since Donald Trump was elected. So instead of going down, they're going up even higher. So people are starting to wake up. They're saying, wait a minute, this is not what I thought I was voting for.
Yeah.
And it's happening even sooner than I thought. I mean, literally in the first few months here. I thought this would take a little longer, but my God, they're self-destructing so fast.
Morning Joe needs to be canceled like Joy Reid show. I would also note the whole thing is a travesty. But Clay, they don't even pretend that they have to connect anything Trump has done with the price of eggs in a month.
Well, look, the price of goods went up somewhere around 21 or 22% when Joe Biden took office. Inflation was 1.9%. It went up to over 9%. And that's embedded. And the analogy that unfortunately applies is if you get fat, suddenly getting fat at a slower rate doesn't mean that you're getting in shape, right? And I think a lot of you understand that, but it's kind of the perfect analogy. If you put on 40 pounds and then you suddenly in a year only put on 3 or 4 pounds, well, that's better than maybe the rate you had been putting on weight, but the 40 pounds don't go away. So the cost of goods, because Biden was an economic moron, skyrocketed. And now Trump, in office for literally 1 month, is suddenly being attacked for not having corralled the price of goods after Democrats spent 4 years telling us that Bidenomics was actually a huge success. And anyone who thought that they had less money in their pocketbook was actually not just understanding how good they had it. So you can't, although they're trying, it's important to recognize here, you can't fix everything that Joe Biden did wrong in 1 month, with the exception of the border, where we had Tom Homan on yesterday, Buck, and he pointed out that Trump has effectively shut down the southern border, and 97% of illegal border crossings have stopped. So that was one thing where Biden was so bad that legitimately in 1 month, Trump could fix it, and now nobody's talking about the border. It has vanished as a top story, and now Democrats are trying to make hay with this. The egg thing is actually somewhat unique because of the fears of avian flu. There have been the slaughter of tons of what
Birds.
would otherwise be bird producing eggs, right? And so as a result, that's a huge, sort of unique aspect of why egg prices are going up. It's because we've slaughtered so many birds, right? And so many people out there right now are having struggles with that. But that really doesn't have anything at all to do with the Trump economic policies, and it's being singled out as one particular issue. Now, I think the price of goods is going to stabilize and then start to come down. Here's my prediction. If we can get peace in Ukraine. And you might say, okay, how is peace in Ukraine tied, Clay, to the overall cost of goods? I think if we get peace in Ukraine and Russia comes back online as a legitimate source of oil all over the world, I think you will see the cost of oil plummet. I think you're already seeing this, right? I was driving by the other day. A gallon unleaded by my house has dropped under $3 a gallon, which it hadn't been, to my knowledge, for a while. And that is embedded in the cost of everything. So if you get the cost of oil down, if you get the cost of what you're paying for a gallon of gas down, the overall rates of inflation begin to decline across the board. And that's what would happen, I believe, if we could get peace in Ukraine. There's then way more oil on the marketplace. Price overall comes down, and our economy benefits as a result.
All of this analysis that you've laid out, I think lines up and is true, but also it takes time, which we all
Yeah.
know. This is the part
Yes.
of it that's so absurd, right? I mean, this is like Trump has been in office a week. Why hasn't he solved the debt? And you could say, well, their criticisms are idiotic and in bad faith, and that's true, but it also shows you that they can't actually go after the stuff that he's doing, the stuff that this administration is doing effectively. They try. They say Elon's going to have access to your data. What?
Yeah.
What is that even? This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. The richest guy
Yes.
in the world is looking for billion-dollar fraudulent payments in the government system, and people are worried he's going to steal your social security number. He's going to take out a credit card in your name? It's so absurd that even saying it out loud just feels like a waste of everyone's time. But this is what the Democrats are saying. This is what Chuck Schumer and CNN and Morning Joe, this is what they're coming out with. And I think that this is indicative of the disarray that they're currently in. They know that these narratives are really weak. I think they understand that. One thing they do understand is power and how to get it and how to undermine people to achieve power. And they know that this stuff that they're saying out loud now about eggs, about the price of stuff, with the governor of Illinois, I mean, I was going to say what a lightweight that guy is. I wasn't trying to be funny, but really not a smart guy, not an impressive individual, inherited a lot of money and hasn't done very much with it. You find yourself, Clay, sitting here saying it's for the first time, the opposition to Trump just feels irrelevant. It's not that we disagree with them or think that they're idiots, because, yeah, that's been the case for a long time, but it's not resonating. It's not cutting through. It just sounds like chatter from the cheap seats while the Trump administration continues to stay on the agenda, move things forward, and do what they promised the voters that they would do. Also, the notion that Biden and his team around him had any idea about how to bring prices down. They named a massive spending bill the Inflation Reduction Act,
Yeah.
just to lie about it. Just to lie about it. This would be like me naming a can of gasoline the non-flammable liquid, can. Like, this is the craziest thing. The opposite of the truth. And that is what they did. And now they want to tell us about prices. They want to tell us who was the smartest person on economics in Biden's administration? Pete Buttigieg?
Buck, who is the smartest Democrat in elected office right now when it comes to basic economics? who would you point to and say, hey, I trust this guy or this gal to be really good at getting our national economy roaring? I can't even name. This is in addition to the fact that they have no masculine men in the party, and there is some connection maybe on the economic front. I can't even name somebody in a position of prominence right now in the Democrat Party that I would say, you know what? I may not agree with them, but they've built a really good business and they have some semblance of economic reality, a decent head on their shoulders. I can't even give you a guy or a girl that is right now in the mix that I expect and would have any faith in whatsoever.
Take some of your calls coming up here momentarily. It's a natural instinct protecting your family from harm and doing all you can to make sure they're safe and able to defend themselves. Saber is the company making self protection tools that you can rely on to be safe in your home and see that your family is safe as well. They've been manufacturing these products for 50 years and refining them with new technology year in and year out. This is a family owned company. They really believe in what they're doing. They want to keep you safe. Saber has safeguarded hundreds of thousands of Americans. Their popular pepper sprays and gels are made in the U.S. with tons of positive reviews. Saber's home defense projectile launcher may be just your ultimate choice for protection. Small enough to hold in one hand, it fires off a round projectile full of pepper spray, slowing down an intruder or attacker. And in those moments when someone's invading your home, this is what you need if you want to go non-lethal for your defense. Saber's projectiles pack a serious non-lethal punch. Don't go with any imitations. I've tried them all. Saber is the best in the marketplace right now, bar none. By the way, even if you don't hit the target directly, the Saber pepper launcher creates a 6-foot pepper cloud upon impact, which causes intense sensory irritation. Go to saberradio.com today. A whole line of home defense products that are non-lethal that you should have on hand. I've got a whole bunch of them here at home. Carrie feels comfortable with them. You should check them out. Saber, S-A-B-R-E, saberradio.com. Save 15% when you go to that website today. That's saberradio.com or call 844-824-SAFE. That's 844-824-SAFE.